The saga surrounding Meghan Markle's public persona and her ventures, particularly her recent Netflix show, has unfolded like a modern-day soap opera, complete with tears, tabloid fodder, and a healthy dose of internet memes. The drama kicked into high gear with the cancellation rumors swirling around her Netflix series, With Love, Meghan, a show that premiered on March 4, 2025, and quickly became a lightning rod for criticism. The internet, ever the merciless critic, didn't hold back, and neither did high-profile commentators like Joe Rogan, who took aim at Meghan's carefully curated image with the precision of a seasoned comedian. The show, meant to showcase Meghan as a relatable, lifestyle guru/mom, instead became a case study in tone-deaf branding, with critics and viewers alike questioning its authenticity and purpose. Meanwhile, the broader narrative of Meghan and Prince Harry's post-royal life continues to stir controversy, from royal family rifts to political missteps, making their every move a magnet for scrutiny. Let's start with the Netflix show itself. With Love, Meghan was pitched as a cozy, aspirational glimpse into Meghan's Montecito life, blending cooking, gardening, and soft-focus life advice. Think slow-motion teapots, edible flower petals, and Meghan twirling through her kitchen like she's auditioning for a Gwyneth Paltrow biopic. The show leaned heavily into her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, later rebranded as Ever, with every episode feeling like an extended commercial for her cookware line or artisanal jams. She ended the season with a whispered, "Here we go. It's a business," as if viewers needed a reminder that this wasn't just about sharing recipes. But the internet wasn't buying it. Critics called the show smug, detached, and painfully out of touch, especially in an era where many are scraping by. The Times described it as worse than smug and syrupy, while the Telegraph didn't mince words, labeling it far worse than feared. The New York Post piled on, calling it beautiful but boring, vapid, and entitled. Social media took it further, with TikTok exploding in parodies of Meghan's hosting style, stirring tea like she's inventing gravity, whispering platitudes while planting basil, and staring meaningfully into the distance. If cringe were a genre, With Love, Meghan would be its undisputed queen. The numbers didn't help Meghan's case. Netflix reported 12.6 million viewing hours in the show's first week, which sounds impressive until you consider the platform's scale and Meghan's global fame. For someone who's been called one of the most talked-about women in the world, those figures are lukewarm at best. To put it in perspective, a mid-tier reality show can pull similar numbers without the baggage of a royal title or a $100 million production deal. Rumors quickly spread that Netflix might be ready to pull the plug, despite the company's insistence that Season 2 was greenlit the same week Season 1 dropped. Filming for a second season may be complete, but as industry insiders point out, filming doesn't guarantee airing. Netflix has a history of quietly shelving projects that don't perform, and the lack of buzz around With Love, Meghan, beyond the memes, suggests it could be headed for a silent fade-out. No press release, no cancellation announcement, just a slow ghosting from the platform's algorithm. Adding fuel to the fire, Netflix found itself denying rumors that it sent legal threats to a celebrity chef who criticized the show. The fact that such a rumor even surfaced speaks to how touchy the situation has become. Meghan's PR team has been working overtime to insist the show is alive and well, but the optics aren't great. Another project, an animated series called Pearl from 2021, was indeed cancelled by Netflix, axed when the platform decided kids' content wasn't worth the PR headaches. That precedent doesn't bode well for With Love, Meghan, which, despite still being on air, feels like it's on shaky ground. The show's failure to trend anywhere significant, described by one critic as barely registering on a random aunt's Facebook feed, has only amplified the skepticism. Then there's the infamous pretzel bag incident, which became a punchline in its own right. During one episode, Meghan was shown meticulously transferring pretzels from one bag to another, a moment so bizarrely mundane it sparked a wave of mockery. Jimmy Fallon, never one to miss a comedic opportunity, questioned why Meghan was hand-making pretzel bags on national television. Social media ran with it, with one viewer joking that it was like watching Martha Stewart having an identity crisis with a full production crew. The pretzel fiasco encapsulated the show's core issue. It tried to sell Meghan as relatable while showcasing a lifestyle, complete with $14,000 kitchens and imported rose salt, that felt like a fever dream of privilege. But the show's reception wasn't universally negative. Some defenders, including a handful of celebrities and sympathetic op-eds, argued that the backlash was overblown, tinged with unfair double standards. One piece claimed the criticism was rooted in racism, disguised as critique, while others praised the show for romanticizing the ordinary. If ordinary means microdosing wildflower honey and waxing poetic about ceramic spoon holders, then sure, it's relatable. Celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow and Jose Andres offered tepid support, with Paltrow appearing on the show and Andres praising Meghan's charity work. Even Martha Stewart expressed curiosity, though coming from someone who's built an empire on knowing better, that felt more like polite shade than a ringing endorsement. Joe Rogan, however, was not here for the pleasantries. On his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, he took aim at both Meghan and Harry with a mix of sarcasm and bluntness that cut through the PR spin. He mocked Harry's title as the Duke of Sussex, likening it to someone demanding to be called Captain at a costume party. Rogan didn't stop there, joking that Meghan was running a cult and had emotionally kidnapped Harry, isolating him from his royal roots and leaving him friendless in Los Angeles while she built her empire of jams and pretzel bags. He even questioned America's obsession with the royals, calling it bizarre to fawn over a family whose ancestors colonized half the world. For Rogan, Meghans Tears, particularly her teary-eyed moment on Jamie Kern-Lima's show, were Oscar-worthy but hollow. During that appearance, Meghan, sans makeup and sporting a shirt with her kids' names, delivered an emotional monologue about proving you're enough, complete with strategic pauses and a single well-timed tear. Body language analysts noted her blinking sped up when discussing Harry, fueling speculation that the emotion was more performance than genuine. Meghan's knack for tearful moments is well documented, dating back to her 2021 Oprah interview, where she dropped bombshells that shook the royal family. Sitting in a manicured California garden, dressed like she was starring in a soap opera finale, Meghan claimed a royal family member had expressed concerns about how dark her son Archie's skin might be. Oprah's stunned, "What?" became an instant meme, but Meghan's refusal to name names left the accusation hanging in the air, vague yet explosive. Harry later clarified it wasn't Queen Elizabeth or Prince Philip, but that only narrowed the suspect list without closing the case. Buckingham Palace issued a tepid response, saying they were saddened and would address the issue privately, a diplomatic way of saying, "Please stop talking." A 2023 Vanity Fair report suggested Meghan privately told King Charles who made the remark, but her public silence on the matter has kept the controversy alive, unconfirmed and unresolved. That same Oprah interview saw Meghan open up about feeling suicidal while still a working royal, claiming a senior staff member offered help only if she left the family. The revelation sparked sympathy but also skepticism, with critics arguing she exaggerated for effect. British tabloids went into overdrive, accusing her of manipulation, while Harry warned of history repeating itself, invoking Princess Diana's tragic fate. Yet without concrete evidence or named sources, the claims remained divisive, built on Meghan's narrative alone. Her forays into politics haven't helped. In September 2020, Meghan and Harry appeared in a Time 100 video urging Americans to vote in what they called the most important election of our lifetime. Their call to reject hate speech and misinformation was thinly veiled anti-Trump rhetoric, and the backlash was swift. Buckingham Palace distanced itself, reminding everyone Harry was no longer a working royal. Meghan doubled down, insisting her words were twisted, but the damage was done. Then, in October 2023, their Archwell Foundation got tangled in controversy over funding a Muslim charity whose founder had made inflammatory remarks about Israel. When the quote surfaced, Meghan and Harry reportedly pulled funding, but the optics were messy. Either they didn't vet the charity properly, or they hoped no one would notice. The royal rift remains a backdrop to all this. Insiders claim Prince William regrets not cutting ties with Meghan and Harry in 2020, now opting for total silence, while King Charles is reportedly stung by Harry's public criticisms, including a BBC interview accusing palace officials of endangering his family. The drama feels like a Shakespearean tragedy, with William's former communications chief expressing sadness over the brotherly fallout. Meanwhile, Meghan's lifestyle brand, as ever, has struggled to gain traction. Its launch, complete with a video of Meghan writing 2025 in the sand, filmed 20 times for authenticity, was mocked for its staged spontaneity. Her gifting of Billie Eilish shirts to wildfire survivors drew accusations of tone deafness, with social media calling it a PR stunt gone wrong. Through it all, Meghan remains a polarizing figure. Some see her as a trailblazer, others as a calculated opportunist. Her Netflix show, her brand, and her public persona are all part of a high-stakes rebrand, one that's faltering under the weight of scrutiny. Joe Rogan's roasts, the internet's memes, and the tabloids' barbs keep the pressure on, while Netflix's wavering support looms large. Meghan may have left the palace, but she's walked into a different kind of battlefield, and the fight for relevance is far from over.